Let's get it. Excuses are the tools of the weak and incompetent. They build bridges to nowhere and tunnels to nothingness. Those who excel in them seldom do in anything else. Therefore, there are no excuses.
Kody,
I'm not making
you
it.
haven't even talked to Savanah in 6 weeks. Like, you didn't even call her at Christmas or anything. Like, nothing.
Well, everybody.
I've
I've been doing a lot of business, and when I'm doing business, a lot of times it's happening in the evening, so I haven't been around to do stuff with her after school.
I don't know.
See, you know you gotta do when he's up fucking. When he starts stuttering, you know you got his ass. Because well, I mean, you know, I'll be busy at work. That's called adulting. That's called being an adult. Yeah, you have a lot of responsibilities. Welcome to the club, bro. Everybody got stuff going on. You're not the only person in the world who has a job, jackass. Janelle has things going on, but it ain't like you go by the house and in the corner is like a decrepit, you know what I mean, decaying ass child talking about she ain't 8 months because Janelle couldn't figure it out because she had to do overtime. Like, that's not what happens. If that's the case, you go to jail. Like, I don't understand what the issue is, bruh. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're just a ridiculous person at that point. And it kills me because half the time these women will sit around and talk about what a great father he was and how awesome he was when the kids were little. Look, if you have to think about your kids, Logan is what, almost 30 years old, at least, probably about 30 or so. If you have to look back to a time when I was a child, Logan was like 6 years old. You talk about he was a great parent. Like, every video they show, do you ever notice that even on TLC, when they show these videos of Kody and what a great dad he was, all the older kids who are damn near 30 years old now were about 4, not even 4. Like, these kids were like 2 and 3 years old. They got the home movies ripping. And they're like, look how good a father Kody was when these kids were 2 and 3. Like, if you don't, these kids are 30, so that's a lot of real estate where you could have established what a great father you were and all the things you were doing with your kids. You telling me you don't have no more home movies than that? That you're a shitty father. If you if your only videos of you and your kids are before they even go to preschool, my man, you are losing. You are losing the Father Olympics, my man. You are losing. Like, you didn't even show up. You're not even in the damn locker room at that point. Where's Kody at? Kody ain't nowhere in the building. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Look, if you guys are enjoying my content, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Let me know that you like what I'm doing. If you are watching my content and you're giving me the thumbs up, but you're not yet subscribed, what are you doing, guys? It's easy to do. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out, helps me out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special, by clicking the subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications. Now, I plan on dropping videos all week, and I'll be more productive, I promise you, with some of my later videos. But I got to get this out, because if I don't, that's what happened last week. I was just thinking about this foolishness, and then I get behind on my video production. So I got to get this out. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Let's get it. Now, we're going to talk about this foolishness from the perspective of the excuses that Kody lays out. Oh, I had to work. I'm so busy at work. I don't never have no break. They'll never give me a lunch when I'm there. I work all day and all night. And sometimes I get really hyper busy in the evenings. That's when it's crazy. Well, what about Saturday and Sunday when she's off and she's around during the day? Oh, well, I mean, that time I got to spend with Robin's kids because I'm over at her house. You're not a good father, bro. You're not doing your job. And I don't care, even if you are, I don't think this is the case, but if you were paying entirely for that apartment where they're staying, but you aren't making time to spend with your daughter, you are failing. You're failing. I have said this once before in another video, I'm sure. But this has always been my sticking point when it comes to dads who will sit there and say that they can't find time and they don't know and they don't want to ask no permissions and all this other foolishness. If instead of it being Savanah sitting at Janelle's house, if it was a sack of hundreds sitting over there, instead of Savanah, she weighs about, 120 pounds? If it was 120 pounds worth of hundreds just sitting in Janelle's house, I guarantee Kody would find a way to get his ass over there and have a conversation with Janelle about seeing that money. I guarantee it. I guarantee Kody would not be okay with Janelle icing him out. I guarantee that if she told him that he couldn't see that sack of hundos, he would have his ass in the courthouse the next day filing paperwork to see his baby. I gotta see my baby. There's no way in the world Kody would be okay with just letting that money languish over there in that house. If she had, the reason why Kody wanted his name slapped over on every piece of land that Janelle owned and every piece of land that they talking about buying in the Brown family is because he wants to be sure that he has a say in what happens. But that same interest does not translate to his children. The same interest that he has in trying to become the real estate mogul that he thinks one day he's going to be, Mr. Everything is set on easy mode, thinks that that's going to happen. He has no interest in trying to duplicate that same effort when it comes to his children. Even when it comes to his boys. They just turn into an excuse. The reason why I don't talk to you is because of the boys. The reason why I'm screwing up our marriage is because of the boys. And if it's not the boys, it's Christine. If it's not Christine, it's COVID. Everything is an excuse. And one of the funny things to me is that this guy consistently will talk about excuses and accountability, and you need to take responsibility for your actions and have to deal with the consequences and be accountable. Remember that? But then at the same time, you sit here and when you confronted with a real issue, you haven't called your daughter in 6 weeks. Oh, but because I was at work and stuff, and I never get no breaks, and I don't eat during the day. I never eat. I never sit down and watch a show. I don't answer emails. I don't, get on social media. I don't do anything around Robin's house. She don't even see me. She complaining all the time too because I don't do nothing but work. Where's the accountability? Where is the responsibility? Where is you being responsible for your daughter's happiness, her mindset, her mentality? You want to come over to Janelle's house and play for 2 days. Then you want to go over to Robin's house and play for 2 days. You don't want to deal with any issues, but then you want to sit here and tell everybody what a man would do. A man deals with his issues. A man deals with his shit. And see, that's the difference between most of the guys that Kody tries to pretend that he is and the way that he's conducting himself. I'm sorry, yo. If the only videos you got of you with your kids and you participate with your kids is when TLC cameras show up or when the kids are like 4 and 5, that's the only time you concerned with them. You don't like your kids, you just like babies. And you're not concerned about your kids. The fact that you're having such arguments with your sons and you're in competition with these dudes. What are you competing with your sons for? The one person in your life growing up, like they used to tell young men all the time, this is an old thing. The one person as a young man who always wants you to be better than them is always your dad. Your dad, as a young man, when you coming up as a young man, I could look at my father. My father would look at me and say, you know what, James, I want you to be better than me. And the things that he tried to put in place for me, he tried to make sure that I was in a better financial situation. He tried to make sure that I had a better sense of morality, so on and so forth. He always wants to try to improve upon himself through me. So when I'm James Jr., so for my father, I'm James 2.0. For me, my son is James 3.0. So I want my son to be better than me. I want him to be smarter than me. I want him to be far more charming and intellectually aware and be emotionally intelligent. I want my son to have all the things that I felt I didn't have. And then I want him to instill that within himself and find that duty that he makes sure that his kids are better than he is. And that's the way it should go. The same thing with your daughter. You don't want your daughter to have the confidence that apparently you don't want to give to your wives. You don't want your daughter to feel the security, the safety, the confidence, the consistency of having you around and knowing that she can pick up the phone anytime she wants and call you and you're going to respond to her with anything other than, baby, can I call you back because I'm busy at work? Baby, it's a bad time because I'm here with Sal and Ari and we're having fun. We're playing crepes or whatever the hell it was. Because I sat there and watched you, and regardless, oh, it's a TV show and this is what we're doing for the reality show. You could have took 5 minutes out of your shooting from that day and picked up the phone and said, hey, Savanah, just wanted to let you know, Merry Christmas. When you talked to Christine's kids, who you knew were over there in the house with Savanah, hey, guys, why don't you bring Savanah with you, see if she wants to come. If she wants to come, that's cool. If she don't, here's her presents. Tell her I said Merry Christmas. Or tell her to read her text or pick up the phone so that I can wish her Merry Christmas. Or even better yet, I'm going to call over there and screw it, pop up. Pop up. Hey, Janelle, how you doing? Yeah, I just came by to see Savanah. And for him to sit there and say, like, oh, you guys are keeping me from my kids. As a matter of fact, let's listen to his excuse of why he doesn't see Savanah.
Almost all my interaction with Robin's children are because I'm with Robin and interacting with her children. So I have to make a plan with Savanah and interact with her without Janelle. If I was at home with Janelle, interacting with Janelle and Savanah, this would be every 2 nights. I'd be 2 nights at Robin's and 2 nights at Janelle, and 2 nights at Robin and 2 nights at Janelle.
So I'd be 2 nights with Robin and 2 nights with Janelle. Look, what that comes down to is you're lazy. Sorry, you're not a dad. You're a lazy ass dude. In order for me to see my kids, it has to be convenient for me to do so. So if I don't have a place to stay, then I don't want to see my kids. It's the environment that they prepare. And he said it in such a way where he was hyper confident that because I do this with Robin and Robin makes a way for me to do it and she makes it hyper convenient for me to do it. That's why I see her kids all the time. Bully for her. But bad on Janelle because Janelle doesn't make it easy for me to be able to spend time with my daughter. It's not about ease. It's about your responsibility and your duty. And somewhere down the line, somebody forgot to tell you that life isn't easy. And some of the things that you have to do as an adult are things that you don't necessarily want to do the way you want to do them. But you do it because you have to do it because it's your duty and your responsibility to do those things. This is kind of like if you were talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I want to make all the money, but I don't want to go to work. Yeah, you got to do some things that you don't necessarily want to do. I want to get straight A's, but I don't want to study. You got to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. In order for you to get the things you want, sometimes you have to do the things you don't want to do. In order for you to be able to spend time with your daughter, you have to be able to take the time to set it up so that you can spend time with your daughter. I understand it's not ideal and it's not the way things used to be, but guess what? Life changes. And you have to deal with those changes. And it changed. One of my favorite parts is he always considers it like almost propositions it almost as though life changed and I had nothing to do with it. I'm such a spectator. And here's what I would say to anybody. Instead of you sitting around trying to read the pages of your life that somebody else has constructed for you, take the pen and write your own damn story. Take the pen and you tell the story the way you want to tell the story. If you want your wife back, you have to be willing to do the work. Janelle is in a situation where he could literally get her back. Unfortunately for him, he's not man enough to recognize the mistakes that he made, make the changes he has to make in order for him to go back to his relationship with his wife. And because you're not doing that, you are not welcome in her house. Sorry, that's the way it works. If you want to be in this woman's life, you have to make the changes. And the only change that I really see her asking you to make, to be honest, is really twofold. One, she wants to be equal to the wife you have. That's not too much to ask. You pretend like that's what you're doing already. But to you and to Robin, her being equal means that Robin is less than, because she has been on the pedestal for so long that she doesn't realize that equality would also lower her standing and her stature as far as your relationship is going. And that's why she doesn't want to do it. You don't want to elevate Janelle, because then you might actually have to deal with her as an equal, or more of on an equal footing. The second thing that Janelle is asking for is she wants you to respect and deal with her children. Oh, I'm sorry, your children. He treats it as though these are somebody else's kids that Janelle is trying to slam onto him without his permission. These are your children. She's asking you to take care of your children. That's not obscene. That's not unreasonable. But he acts as though she's asking him to do something that is completely illogical, unreasonable, and something that he should never be asked to do. Let's listen again to what his excuses were.
When Janelle and Christine kick me out of their house, and then when Christine leaves, they separate me from the environment that I know my children in. I'm just struggling to survive all the heartbreak here, while they sit here and play mean girls together.
Oh, they act like mean girls? Tighten yourself up. Grow up, man. You're not in high school anymore, mean girls. What are you talking about? That sounded way cooler in your head than it actually. No grown-ass man should ever say mean girls. That's off the list. It's off the list. You should not be an adult man talking about mean girls. Ever. But even beyond that, what he's saying is, because I can't come over there and knock boots, knock the bottom off, or do my do with her and share her bed, then that means she's telling me I can't see my kids. That's not what she's saying. What she's saying is, you can't come over and, do the do. That's what she said. We don't come over and you don't spend time with me in the boudoir until our relationship gets right. But at no point did I ever hear Christine or Janelle say that you can't see your kids. In fact, the reason why you fell out with both Christine and Janelle is because you weren't taking care of your kids. It's your kids that broke you up. You're right about that. It's not the boys, though. It's not just the boys. It's the way you treated Savanah, who had nothing to do with any of this. And as much as, I can pull a clip and I was going to, but I don't like seeing it. When she was sitting there being asked about it, Christine asked her about it. Oh, he hasn't called me. And she was kind of trying to give off the tough girl, I don't care attitude towards whether Kody had called or not. She was hurt. And you could see that hurt her. The fact that you hadn't called her since her birthday, that hurt her feelings. And if you were any kind of a man, and more importantly, if you were any kind of a father, not only should you be embarrassed by that scene, but that should touch you here. You should be hurt. That should hurt your feelings. It made me feel a certain kind of way when I saw that. And that's not my child. And I felt a certain kind of way because I understand that little girl is suffering. She wants to spend time with you. Now, I will get on YouTube and I'll call you a piece of shit all day and I'll say you're a jackass and an idiot and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of mean things. I guess I'm a mean boy too and all that. I'm a bully. But she legitimately wants to spend time with you. Who gives a damn what I think? Your concern should be about her. I mean, I get her. I don't know you. I don't know her. I don't know none of y'all. So why but you shouldn't even care about what I think. But you should care about what your daughter thinks. And I can see that hurt her. And you should, if you ever watch this video, you should not only pick up the phone and call her, but you need to apologize to her, and you need to ensure her that you're going to spend the rest of your miserable ass days trying to make that situation better by trying to make up for that ridiculous thing. And you wonder why these boys are mad at you, because the boys had to sit there, and if I can see that hurt their sister, I know these boys see that hurt their sister. You think when Hunter comes back, or Logan or Garrison or Gabe sit there and come back and they look at their sister, they look at their mom, these ladies in their life, these people who are so important to them, because unlike you, these are the people that they spend their time with. You don't think they feel some kind of way about that? If they any kind of man, and watching them on the screen, I suspect that if they are the type of men that I think they are, they will not be okay with the way you treating their mama and their sister. Because even though, and I'm not trying to turn this into a mama versus daddy situation, but I'm just saying, if you respect your sister, you respect your mom, you don't want anybody disrespecting them. And that includes you, Kody. Just like they wouldn't sit there and tolerate their mom disrespecting you. It goes both ways. I'm sure that's the case. But you are in the wrong in this situation. And of course, you're going to sit there and blame COVID. You're going to blame the COVID rules. Every time Janelle tries to talk to him about something serious, he comes out with the COVID rules. And I know you're upset about COVID, and it's COVID. It wasn't us. The relationship had been struggling for a long time. Oh, we had kind of a renaissance back in Vegas. That was like 5 years ago. That's part of your problem. You're so busy living in the past that you're not living today. And if you're living in the past, you're holding on to the past, you can't reach for the future. You can't hold on for today. And that's the ridiculous thing about it, watching Kody. And that's one of the more annoying things about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. I'm trying to cut down on the cussing. This is maybe like the third, fourth time I filmed this, because it was a little off the hook. And I have to do that. I might do that during lives or whatever. Let you see the real, raw, unadulterated James. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe he was like this. But that's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCA.